If you saw last week's video, you'll have seen me playing around with these things, trying to get these children's toys to work so I could play these children's records. Now this time we're going to be looking at some mini records, but these ones were for adults. Quite a few years ago, I demonstrated the Panapic in a video. This was another interesting karaoke device that contained the lyrics as well as the music in a book, the audio being played back from small flexi discs by placing a mini record player and speaker device on the top of them. This naturally prompted a number of German-speaking viewers to remember the large encyclopedia sets their parents had collected, as these two used a very similar system to play back short recordings. For rather obvious reasons, I don't have a set of those encyclopedias, but I'm going to show you another take on this idea instead. Right, now it appears that this is a full set. It looks like this is the box it would have originally been delivered in. The address details would be in this envelope here. So we've got the whole thing, and it's had very little use. You'll understand why perhaps once we take a look inside. That gives us a bit of a clue as to what is in here, and no, it's nothing to do with Charlie Parker. Let's see exactly what we do have. Well, we've got all the instructions, so we can have a look at those in a moment. We've got catalogues and things as well. These are the records in these little packets here. And then this is part of the player device, and this is the rest of it, and it looks in pristine condition. Now I think this can be used in two different ways. One, you pop a card in through the top and it will play that, or the other way is that you can pop it down on top of something like the ones in the German encyclopedia that you press down on the page and it will play them that way. At least I think that's how it's going to work. We'll have a look at it in a moment. As I say, we've got everything here, so we can have a proper look at that. But unfortunately, the records we're playing are, well, to me, less than interesting, because it's these. And yeah, they are bird records, as it said on the box. These are sets of bird sounds. So there's all these different envelopes, and all that they contain are different bird sounds. Now, of course, on the internet nowadays, you just click on Wikipedia or something about to hear the bird sound immediately. But in the olden days, you'd have to buy yourself a set of records, and this isn't all of them. You could buy more than this just to hear all these different birds. For example, if you wanted to listen to the pine siskin, well, it's in this one, set 8A. Let's see if we can find that one in here. This is the kind of thing we had to do in the past. So, right, I want to listen to the pine siskin. Let's see what we've got. Okay, well, you can see there, we've got little records on each of these cards. Now, they've got a bit yellow with time. I'd imagine they would have been completely clear originally, but what we were looking for, Siskin, wasn't it? It was in here somewhere. Hold on. Oh no, don't tell me we're not going to be able to listen to it. It must be in here somewhere. Those have gone particularly yellow, haven't they? Brown Creeper. Brown Head. Oh, finally, it's the last one. That's convenient. So there you go. So you'll be able to read about it there. Although, as I say, it's a little bit more difficult than it would have been, I'm sure, when it was new. And we've got a date at the bottom here, 1970 as well. And on each of these you get a image of the bird that we're talking about. It all seems really very old-fashioned. It almost feels a little bit Victorian, with the faded colours as well. There's just something very old about this. But let's stick with our pine siskin. We'll put that to one side. I don't know why I picked that one out particularly, but we'll use that as our example once we get this thing going. So let's just put these over here and we'll have a look inside this box. Well, you can see that this is the Microsonics MS301. I don't know how many different versions of this type of device they did, but perhaps this is a later one. Notice here we've got various different languages on here, so it would have been sold in a number of different countries. Now on this side I can see a copyright date of 1980 there. So whilst the recordings might have been 1970, they were selling this through to at least 1980. And that's about all we can learn from the box. So let's open it up and see what we've got inside here. Let's hope this one works from the off. Although if it doesn't, I'm not exactly missing out on a great deal. The sound of birds is not something I'm particularly interested in. I suspect somebody got this as a gift and they politely played with it a couple of times and then put it away. I say played with it. You know, it'd be somebody who says, oh, I'm interested in bird watching, so then they get this for Christmas and they're like, yeah, I'm not that interested. Right, so you can see here, as I mentioned, this side could be put down and played like that, but also we had that plastic adapter in the box. What did I do with that? Here it is. So the idea with this is that that goes on the back here, and then the card slips in like this. Let's just hope nobody's left any batteries in here. Oh no, we're all right. That's a very clean battery compartment. Yeah, let's put a couple of AA's in there and see what this thing does. Right, let's press play. Maybe it will only work if there's a card in place. It's much the same as the one that I used on the Sopic system. So if we hold that down there and then press start, this should spin around now. I say should, no promises. That's definitely amplified, but yeah, this might not work, but we'll find out. Let's pop this on. You can see here we've got a spring-loaded section at the bottom. That's so that you can get your card back out again, I think. This seems to be making it a little bit more happy. So pop that down there. I think we have to clip it into position, I think. There we go. We're going to stick our card in here, and of course we're going to be putting the record side towards the stylus. I'm a little bit concerned about hitting that stylus. This does not seem right, does it? Because that's in the way. Is it supposed to go the other way up? No. Stop. If we hold down stop, you can, I don't know if you can see that there. That's retracting. So yeah, stop and eject. So let's try this. Put the card in, holding down the stop button. There we go, it slides in over it now. And that's just to help us get it out later. You can push it down to spring it up. So it should be in the right position with any luck. Let's find out. Yeah, sounds like a hailing frequencies open, Captain. We can just about hear a transmission from the outpost. It seems to be a distress signal. Yeah, I don't think that's working perfectly. I wonder if it'll work better if I let it play for a while. That is quite a long record though. Is it just going to keep doing it over and over? It might just be a... Oh no, we change it to something else. I'm going to say I like this. It's weird, and I appreciate that. Right, it's jumping now. Let's give it a shake. Uh-oh. Okay, well, we've got a 3-volt DC socket here as well. Maybe that would help if I popped power through there. It seems to be running very slow off batteries, but I suspect that's the whole thing's going to be slow. Let's find out. Let's just stop and eject it. Oh, it doesn't want to stop. There we go. Right, well, that was interesting. Let's pop 3 volts in here and see if it works any better with that going in the side. Yeah, it doesn't like the power at all, actually. Yeah, that's not doing anything, so I can't run it off 3 volts after all. I've tried it both centre neg and centre pos. It doesn't say on there, but either way, it doesn't like it. So we'll stick to the batteries, and we'll see if we can get it working a little bit better. I wonder if there's a way to take this apart. Let's just stop that, and then eject it. Oh, notice there's arrows in there, so that it comes back round to that position once it stops. Let's just pop that back in there again. So hold down that eject button, drop the card in the back, and then if we press play there, notice when I press stop, it carries on a little bit until the arrow's pointing towards the top there. And then at this point, oh, we can just take it out like that, yeah. But then when you try and pop it back in, it gets stuck, unless you press the eject button. And then that lets us slide it in. The other things we've got on here, as well as the power supply, we've got an earphone, although I don't think we're going to be using that today. And of course we've got the volume control, and I'm pretty sure the capacitors in here are having a bit of a issue because it's a lot quieter than you'd imagine it should be. Not too sure what that socket's there for. I can see a pot, I think, down there, so no doubt that's perhaps a speed control. Yeah, well, that's not going to help us out here because it's certainly not running at the right speed anyway. So let's try and get in here and see what the issue is. It might be some kind of belt-driven device, and maybe the belt's just slipping. We don't know yet. So let's try and get this off again. It just clips up like that. We'll take the batteries out, which are brand new batteries, so there's no problem with those. And we've got a good strong connection there. There's no oxidization. So I think the next thing is take out the two screws in the top of here and see what's going on inside. Oh, there we go. We're getting some kind of movement. I don't want to snap anything, of course. Don't think there's any buttons that I need to pull off. Right, yeah, so we've got the two halves now. Ah, there is a belt. Yeah, there's a belt going around the outside there. Perfectly fine though, so no issue with that. Let's pop the batteries back in and see what's going on. So this is the eject here. Let's pop this back in the top. Right, and then this is play. Let's just check that connection's being made properly. Yeah, that one's alright. Yeah, unfortunately what I suspect we have here is an electronics issue. Since this is a more sophisticated device than the other one, I can't just prod around and get it working. This would involve replacing some of these components which no doubt aren't working properly. Let's just eject that one, and I'll just try a different one just in case there's something wrong with that card, although I'm pretty sure that is fine. So we've got this other one in here now. Let's just try playing that one. Oh, yeah, that doesn't sound good. That's a funny bird. Yeah, so we're running at much too slow a speed here, aren't we? Oh, there's the pot that I could see through the bottom for adjusting the speed. We might as well play around with it now since it's not working anyway. So let me get a appropriately sized screwdriver. Yeah, that's having no effect. And there's another one over here. Yeah, add a beat to that and you got the makings of a hit record. I don't know why I'm pressing that, it's doing nothing. I need to press this in here. There we go. Okay, well let's just put that to one side because I just want to show you the documents that came with it. You can see on here we've got a variety of pictures down the side, as well as birds, as other things. It's the stunning adventure in sight and sound to thrill every member of the family. And you can hear the roar of the lion, a man's first step on the moon, all the kind of things that you might perhaps get in the encyclopedias in Germany. So here's what was available in this one. So there's all the bird sets, things to do with the masters in painting, presidency, sports nostalgia, great moments in sports, sounds of genius, different composers, milestones in history, Charles Lindbergh, Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream, and then wild animals down at the bottom here. On the back here we got Walt Disney's talking books. Now I'd imagine with these you'd have a number of cards that you'd have to swap out because they won't be able to play an awful long time on each card. So perhaps Snow White's birthday party might be spread across a handful of cards. Then we've got Bible story time. Oh, and then some positivity stuff, some mindfulness, 10 positive attitudes, attitude builders, the joy of family, winning reflections, and then dimensions for daily living. They've got different days of the week here. So, you know, it's a Wednesday. You think, oh, not a Wednesday. Put your Wednesday card in, you're feeling great in no time. Yeah, it looks like this was a device that was struggling to find its purpose. Now, the order form is here. Let's just have a look at how much these cost. So, yeah, if we go down, let's try and find the Disney one. A Disney talking book, $6.95 there. These are all in US dollars. Yeah, they're all $6.95, all the sets, apart from the machine itself here. It shows at the bottom, that was $33. And the starter kit you could get for $39 with 2 sets that you pick from over here. Yeah, okay. Right, now, I've got another thing that's a little bit like this. Now, this one obviously is a bit goosed. However, it's possible the other device I have might work and might be able to play one of these cards so that we can hear exactly what's on here other than the bird sound. We could hear somebody talking there, but we couldn't quite make out what they were saying. So let's see if we can get one of these to play. Right, now this is another very similar device that I picked up from Japan years ago. And I just like the look of it, and I was hoping at some point to find the cards that went with this. I never did find those, but I believe it was used as a language learning tool. So let's just have a look at this. There's quite a few of these turn up on the Japanese auctions, new in box, so, or pretty much new in box. So I think that there were quite a few of them around, although maybe the language courses were something that you borrowed and then gave back. I don't think there's much to see in there, so we'll just get this out. I just really like the design of this. It gave me that kind of Mission Impossible vibe a little bit with its speaker on the front here. But yeah, it's a nice looking thing, that, isn't it? But there you go, National Card Player. Now the thing with this is I'm pretty sure that is smaller than the, should we say, turntable on the other device we just had a look at. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, considerably smaller. So exactly the same idea, but just done in a much neater package. Perhaps though, if we were to cut one of these cards down, the actual turntable part, the actual record itself, looks the same size to me as this. So perhaps we can, on this one, slide this cover off and then put it down on top of there. It might come apart like that, yes. So I don't know if it's supposed to do that, but it's just done it. So let's put some batteries in and see if we can get this one to work. And that's interesting. We've got a thing there that says push in the battery compartment. Wonder what I'm pushing. I don't know. But let's put batteries in and find out what this one does. Right, a couple of double A's, both facing the same direction in this one. In a recent video I put some batteries in something as per the instructions like this, and this is a very common layout for things like Walkman where both batteries point the same way. And a load of people commented, oh, you put the batteries in wrong, that's why it's not working. No, I was following the information in the thing. So yeah, the fact these both point the same way does not mean that I've got them wrong. So if this thing doesn't work, it means the thing's knackered. It's nothing to do with the batteries. So let's just pop those in there. Now we've got 2 buttons on here, and much the same as the other one, we've got stop and eject and play. So that'll play, I'd imagine, if there was something in place in there. How's this working? Oh yeah, so we've got similar sort of spring-loaded thing there. This does not seem to be doing anything now. We've got some controls on the top. We've got volume and that. I need to get my Google Translate out because at the moment there's jack all happening with this thing. Yeah, that is play, that's stop, and that is skip temporarily, which says there. It might be fast forward, it might just be mute, but that's irrelevant at the moment. We want to get this thing spinning around, so let's try and do that now. Is it going to need a card in place before it does anything? Definitely feels locked out at the moment. Ah, that was a click. Haha, right. Yes, we've got some movement. Yeah, that's working. Let's see if we can get this thing to make a sound. Now, as I say, it is too wide. wonder if that will peel off easily. No. Okay, let's this is awkward, but let's try it. Let's turn the volume up and we'll press play. So I've got it spinning round now. Let's try and pop that on the top. Right, well, I think to get this to work, we're going to have to cut this down so it fits in there. Right, so I've got the paper cutter. There'll be somebody somewhere who's incredibly upset by this, but my advice to them is right, that should do it. So let's pop that in there. And I wonder if it's like that other one. Yeah, you pop the eject button down to let it go past. And it's somewhere right about there perhaps. Let's try it. Oh, we need to push the thing down at the bottom though as well, don't we? The trouble with birds is they're repetitious, so you can't tell if this thing's got itself stuck or if this is what it's supposed to sound like. I'm just waiting for that guy to come in. Oh, there we are. Something.
Osprey, also known as the fishhawk, is the only raptor that plunges into the water.
Ah. It faded away at exactly the point I was interested in. Let's try that again.
The osprey, also known as the fishhawk, is the only raptor that plunges into the water. It uses its sharp talons to pierce and lock into the fish, and when the bird rises, it is usually
Well, it cut off a little bit early there, but you got the idea. We've actually heard what's on one of these now. So that is the size it will fit in here, although the actual original size was that. So it shows you how much I had to cut one down. I'm glad to see this thing finally working though. At least I know it kind of works, and it kind of works a little bit better than the other one. Beautiful little design compared to that. Yeah, and both of these really effectively play discs that are the same size as one another. It's just this thing is a bit of a clumsier way of going about it. So there you go, those mini flexi discs found their way into quite a few different kinds of applications, whether it was a pre-Encarta multimedia encyclopedia, or a Japanese karaoke system, or an exciting collection of bird sounds, amongst other things. Perhaps we'll find them somewhere else in the future. But that's it for the moment. As always, thanks for watching.